What if everything falling apart right now began with a single choice made years ago? This episode of Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't just move the story forward. It peels back the layers of fate, karma, and long-buried consequences. Behind the chaos of the culling game lies a chain reaction sparked by one man, one death, and one broken cycle. The truth behind Kenjaku's plan, Tungeen's evolution, and the fragile balance of the world is finally brought into the open. There's barely any room to breathe here. Every conversation carries weight. Every explanation reshapes what we thought we knew. This isn't an episode driven by non-stop action, but by revelations that change the direction of the entire story. As alliances are formed, impossible rules are revealed, and time begins to run out, one question looms over everything. Can this world be saved before the countdown reaches zero? Oh yeah, so we can keep interacting and making the anime storytelling world even more fun together. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments to keep the vibe going. Alright guys, let's jump straight into the discussion. Let's go. This episode feels incredibly dense, packed with information from start to finish. It's not just about action. Long conversations take center stage and reveal a ton of crucial details. You could honestly call this an episode full of jujitsu explanations, because almost every line of dialogue carries important meaning. Even so, all that information actually makes the story more engaging. There's a chance a few minor details might slip by because of how loaded the episode is, but we'll focus on the most important points that really matter. Picking up right where the previous episode left off, the main group finally comes face to face with Tenjin. One detail that immediately stands out is Tungeen's voice, which sounds like that of an elderly woman. It feels surprisingly fitting, since Tenjin is fundamentally female in nature. The voice choice matches both the character and her current condition perfectly. This is also the moment when the name of the true main antagonist is finally revealed, Kenjaku. For manga readers, this name is nothing new. In fact, it's a name that almost slipped out several times before the anime officially confirmed it. Now it's clear, the figure previously known as Noritoshi Kumo or Sugar is actually Kenjaku, the entity controlling those bodies. With that revelation finally out in the open, the mystery is resolved, and it feels relieving to say his real name without hesitation. Amid all the serious discussion, Yuji's reaction steals a bit of the spotlight. Despite everything he's been through, he still shows his innocent side. He asks a question that many viewers were probably thinking themselves: why does Tenjin look like that? Even though it might seem like poor timing, Tenjin calmly answers him. Tenjin explains that while she is immortal, that immortality doesn't preserve youth. Her body continues to age. Her current appearance reflects someone who has lived for roughly 500 years. This situation happened because 12 years ago, Riko Amanai, the star plasma vessel meant to merge with Tenjin, was killed by Toji. Since the fusion failed, Tenjin was forced to evolve. In doing so, she lost her individual sense of self and became a far broader existence, something closer to a being that exists everywhere at once. At this point, Tenjin no longer feels fully human, but rather something approaching a godlike presence. However, working with Tenjin comes with conditions. She requests that 2 out of 3 key individuals, Yuki, Yuta, or Choso, remain with her. What's interesting is that while Yuki and Yuta are both special grade sorcerers, Choso is clearly below them in terms of raw power. Yet Tenjin still includes him as an option, which naturally raises questions. Before any agreement is finalized, Tenjin believes it's necessary to explain Kenjaku's true objective. And this is where his insane plan is laid bare. Kenjaku intends to forcibly evolve all of humanity in Japan by merging every human with Tenjin. Since Tenjin is now an entity connected to all of Japan, this fusion would cause humanity to evolve all at once. In the past, Tenjin could only merge with a single star plasma vessel. But after her evolution, she now has the potential to merge with everyone simultaneously, because the entire world has effectively become part of her consciousness. This explanation does a great job of clarifying Tengen's current position. Still, a logical question arises. If Tengen is nearly godlike, why doesn't she simply reject Kenjaku's plan? The answer is unsettling. After her evolution, Tengen is no longer fully human and has become closer to a curse. Because Kenjaku possesses curse manipulation techniques, controlling Tengen upon making contact would not be difficult. That's why Tengen is now trapped in such a vulnerable position. And if all of this already feels like too much information for a single episode, brace yourself, because this is still not even halfway through the story. This is where one of the most important revelations in Jujutsu Kaisen is finally revealed, and honestly, it carries deep significance. Tengen explains that there's a kind of destiny, or karma, binding three key elements together: the star plasma vessel, the six eyes, and Tengen herself. These three forces are always connected, moving in sync across generations. Their existence repeats in a continuous cycle. This is the core reason why Kenjaku's plans have always failed. Every time he tries to move forward, the six eyes and the star plasma vessel inevitably stand in his way. It's even explained that Kenjaku, despite living for over 1,000 years, repeatedly attempted to kill the six eyes user or eliminate the star plasma vessel. Yet every single attempt ended in failure. Strangely enough, even when the six eyes disappeared, the power would always reemerge at the exact moment it was needed to stop him. This perfect cycle is what made Kenjaku's ambitions impossible to achieve for centuries. In the end, Kenjaku discovered the only solution left: sealing the six eyes. Since only one six eyes user can exist at any given time, sealing SATORU GOJO ensured that no one would be left to interfere with his plan. Another fascinating truth is revealed here as well. Toji Fushiguro turned out to be the true disruptor of this destined cycle. As an anomaly with absolutely no cursed energy, Toji exists outside the laws of cursed energy and karma altogether. Because of that, he was able to sever the connection between Tengen and the star plasma vessel, Riko Amanai, something no one else could have accomplished. In other words, the massive chaos unfolding in the present can be traced back to Toji's actions in the past. Riko's death became the starting point of a huge shift in fate. On top of that, the birth of Geto, later taken over by Kenjaku, a sorcerer with curse manipulation, created the perfect conditions for Kenjaku to finally move forward. It's no surprise that only now, after more than 1,000 years, Kenjaku has come closer than ever to completing his plan. Once Kenjaku's objective is fully understood, the next major question naturally arises: what is the true purpose of the culling game? Tengen explains that the game is essentially a massive ritual. The fusion between Tengen and all of humanity is not something that can happen instantly or carelessly. If attempted without proper preparation, the result could be catastrophic failure or total destruction. The culling game exists as a kind of test run or stabilizing mechanism. It functions like a large-scale simulation, ensuring that the fusion process can proceed smoothly when the time comes. With this understanding, the sorcerers begin to set their own priorities. Beneath all the grand plans, one goal stands above the rest: saving Tsumiki, Megumi's sister. The most reasonable solution is to gather 100 points and add a new rule that allows players to exit the game. If that rule can be implemented, it could lead to the best possible outcome, resolving the situation without further unnecessary bloodshed. Before moving forward, a decision must be made regarding who will stay behind to guard Tengen. The final choice comes down to Choso and Yuki. Choso feels more at ease knowing that Yuta will accompany Yuji, while he himself wants to confront Kenjaku directly, the being who technically created him. He wants to bring everything to an end and finally allow his brothers to rest in peace. Yuki, on the other hand, chooses to remain behind because she still wants to extract as much information as possible directly from Tengen. With that agreement in place, Tenjin fully commits to cooperating. One major objective is made clear: freeing Satoru GOJO. Megumi states it bluntly: if GOJO is released, all of their problems will essentially disappear. That line alone shows just how much faith everyone has in GOJO, and also explains why his sealing felt so shocking and devastating in the first place. Tenjin then reveals that while Kenjaku's prison realm is nearly impossible to open, there is still one loophole: the back gate of the prison realm. To open it, the sealing technique itself must be neutralized directly. There are only two known ways to do this: using the inverted spear of heaven, which Toji once used to pierce infinity, or the black rope, the cursed tool Miguel used during his fight with GOJO. The problem is that both of these tools were sealed away or hidden by GOJO himself. Yuta even searched all the way to Africa for the black rope, only to come up empty-handed. Ironically, GOJO ended up creating the biggest obstacles to his own rescue. With every conventional option cut off, their last remaining hope lies in the cursed technique of a sorcerer from the past who will take part in the culling game, a figure known as Angel, whose real name is Hana Kurusu. After identifying the key to GOJO's release, the discussion returns to the culling game itself. It is confirmed that there are 10 colonies spread across Japan. The pressure intensifies as Yuji learns he now has only 10 days and 15 hours to enter the game and earn his first point. Shoko makes it clear that the 19-day limit is not an empty threat. Anyone who exceeds it will lose their curse technique, which for a sorcerer is essentially a death sentence. That means if Yuji fails to earn even a single point before the deadline, he will die. The countdown officially begins. On top of that, the game's rules are questioned once again. Anyone who enters a colony willingly becomes a player. But Yuji raises an important concern. What about ordinary civilians who are already inside the colonies from the start? Are they automatically considered participants as well? It is then confirmed that civilians will be given a chance to leave the game areas. Strangely enough, this policy feels almost humane for something orchestrated by Kenjaku. Despite being the main antagonist, he does appear to have certain moral boundaries. Innocent civilians are not truly meant to be active participants in the culling game. Even so, this revelation only deepens Yuji's inner conflict. He knows that the primary way to earn points in the game is by killing other players, and that reality weighs heavily on him. Megumi tries to ease his burden by suggesting that there may be another way. He admits that he already has a plan in mind, though the details will be discussed later. The conversation then shifts to the game system itself. Tenjin explains that every participant is accompanied by a shikigami called Kogame. This shikigami follows players at all times and serves as a direct interface with the game's management. All rules, point updates, and system changes are communicated through Kogame. However, the true identity of the one controlling the game remains unknown. They then revisit the rule that allows new regulations to be added using 100 points. Naturally, concerns arise. Will there be limits on what rules can be added? Could the game's administrator reject rules that would put Kenjaku at a disadvantage? Tenjin reassures them that because the culling game is a ritual built on a rigid rule-based structure, it must maintain balance. The system cannot exist solely to benefit Kenjaku. There is, in fact, room for fairness within its mechanics. After fully breaking down the rules, the focus returns to mission preparations. As previously decided, Choso and Yuki will stay behind to protect Tenjin. Meanwhile, Maki is assigned to visit the Zenin clan to collect cursed tools. With Megumi now serving as the head of the clan, Maki believes she should be able to retrieve the weapons without much resistance. At least, that's the expectation. Yuji's reaction upon learning that Megumi is now the leader of the Zenin clan is genuinely hilarious. He looks completely shocked and confused, while Megumi simply brushes it off, saying it'll all make sense later. Elsewhere, Yuta decides to be the first one to enter the culling game. His reasoning is straightforward. He wants to gather as much information as possible from the very beginning, even if it means being cut off from the outside world. Given his abilities and overall strength, Yuta is clearly the most suitable candidate to enter this deadly game first. Beyond supporting the team, His goal is simple yet crucial, making sure Yuji stays alive. Once again, Yuta proves that his kindness and sense of responsibility have been consistent from the very beginning. During these preparations, a sensitive issue from the past resurfaces. Yuji had once asked Yuta to kill him if Sukuna were ever to take control again, all for Megumi's sake. Strangely enough, Megumi himself doesn't seem overly concerned by that possibility. From his perspective, even if Sukuna were to kill Yuji, Yuta could simply eliminate Sukuna afterward. It's a cold and dangerous line of thinking. Honestly, it feels reckless and potentially disastrous, even though everyone understands that Yuta is among the strongest sorcerers in the group. It's then revealed that they won't be facing the culling game alone. They plan to seek help from a third-year student named Kenji Hikari. Although he is currently suspended, Hikari is known to be an exceptionally powerful sorcerer. Yuta himself even admits that if Hikari is in top form, he might surpass him. While this claim has never been definitively proven and is hard to believe, especially considering Yuta's habit of underestimating himself, it still speaks volumes about Hikari's terrifying potential. Even Maki seems unconvinced by Yuta's statement. With all explanations and strategies finally in place, the mission is ready to begin. But before that, the episode delivers one of its most emotional moments: Yuji and Choso's farewell. Yuji turns back and sincerely thanks Choso for everything he's done for him. Choso's response is short, yet deeply meaningful: "Don't die." After watching his younger brother leave, Choso can't hold back his tears. Their bond truly feels like that of real siblings, warm, genuine, and heartfelt, which is exactly why Choso has become such a beloved character. As a closing note, the episode introduces a new character who will play a major role going forward: Takaba, a comedian. At first, he's portrayed as a failed performer whose jokes never seem to land. It's difficult to judge his sense of humor, especially given the cultural differences in comedy, but it's clear his career isn't going anywhere. Even his boss suggests that he quit and pursue a different path, though someone does try to encourage him, albeit in a half-hearted way. What makes Takaba particularly interesting is how his introduction feels like a Jujutsu Kaisen-style version of the Joker. At a glance, he comes off as unhinged and potentially dangerous. That said, this impression may not tell the whole story. His appearance in the opening alone suggests that his role won't be minor. The final shot, focusing on his intense gaze, leaves a strong and unsettling impression. With that, the episode wraps up as one of the most information-heavy entries of the season. But don't worry, from the next episode onward, the action will truly kick off. Maki will head toward the Zenin clan, and it's safe to say that things won't go smoothly. Honestly, the Zenin clan arc is one of the most anticipated parts of the story, and it's exciting to imagine how it will be brought to life in the anime. Thank you so much for sticking with the story till the end. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.